Hello! Today we're going to talk about how plants and humans interact. So, first question, what do you need to survive? Are some of the things that you thought of water, food, and shelter? Out of those things, we're going to talk mostly today about food. Where do we get food from? Well, one answer is plants. For example, this plant is a banana tree. So one day, it will grow up and make fruit. Another place that we can get food from is from animals. But today, we're going to talk mostly about food from plants. So, while we pause for a moment, who would like to have a banana for a snack? Can you help me find out how many bananas you will need so that everyone can have one banana? Count the people in your class. How was your snack? I love bananas. So today I want to talk a little bit more about how bananas come to be. How do we get from this small plant to these big fruits? What does a plant need to survive? Earlier we talked about what people need to survive. What do you think plants need to survive? Here's a clue. What do plants grow in? Plants grow in dirt, or soil. Soil is where plants get many of their nutrients from. Plants also need water and sunlight. But wait, what are nutrients? Nutrients are substances that provide nourishment essential for growth and maintenance of life. This means that when you eat a banana, you are getting nutrients from it. And just like you, banana trees need to get nutrients. So, like I said before, they get it from the soil. But how do you think the nutrients get into the soil? The most common way that soil gains nutrients to help banana trees and other plants grow is through a process called decomposition. Decomposition is the state or process of rotting. It can also be described as breaking down. And the banana tree need nutrients, but we get it in different ways. We form a system. So, when you start with the banana tree, which gets its nutrients from the soil, those nutrients then help the banana tree to grow so that it can produce bananas, which we can eat and give us nutrients. This is an example of an ecosystem. The definition of an ecosystem is a community of living things that work together in their environment. Now it's time for an activity. So we're going to use a couple different pieces on this activity. This is a drawing of a banana tree. Next, we have a drawing of some soil and a drawing of a human. Now, you will use these arrows to place them in a system like we just talked about. For example, this person is most likely going to eat the bananas from the tree. And the bananas are going to be made because the tree was growing in soil. So please use the arrows and the pictures to create a miniature version of an ecosystem. One example of something that can be broken down to help the soil gain nutrients is a banana peel. So we're going to work on a project today that has to do with the snack that we had earlier. So we've talked about technology before, but today we're going to talk about one way that we can use technology to contribute to our ecosystem. How do you think we're going to do this? One thing that we can do is that we can help our banana peels and other things from our garbage that we might throw away to decompose. When we help them decompose, we'll actually be creating soil that has plenty of nutrients to help things like our banana trees to grow. One way to help things decompose, such as our banana peels from today, or other trash that we might otherwise throw away, is to create a compost heap. So today you get to start your very own compost heap. Here are a few things that you'll need. You will need a hole. You will need some dirt. You'll need some worms, and you will need a shovel and some water. Now, we're going to talk about how you create a compost heap and why this technology works. So, we already talked about decomposition. Some of the things that organic matter, such as banana peels, need to decompose are water, regular turning, some other dirt, worms, because worms and other bugs help things to decompose. So, now that we know the things that we need, let's start a compost heap. Welcome back, class! How did it go? Did your compost heap look like the one shown in our pictures? Very good. You may notice that your compost heap doesn't quite look like soil yet. So, one tool that we can use to track its progress is by keeping a log. We can observe or watch what the compost heap does daily or weekly with our teachers. We can then draw a picture of what we're seeing. So, for example, when you first get a banana, it'll probably look something like this. But check out the chart and see how a banana changes over time. Can you imagine how the banana would continue to change, or how a banana peel would continue to change in its decomposition process? Let's learn by observing. Now, I want to revisit the idea of an ecosystem. So, do you remember our tools that we used earlier? Our person, some soil, and a banana tree? Can you think of a step that we could be missing that we talked about after we did this activity? If you remember composting with the leftover banana peels, you were right. So, using a new tile that shows a banana peel, how would you change the ecosystem to include the new information? Okay, it's time to wrap it all up. So, can you tell me what you've learned today? Hey everybody, we have learned so much today. We learned about what an ecosystem was, a community of things that are living and passing on energy to help each other continue to grow. We learned about soil and the nutrients that are in it. We learned that nutrients help to feed plants as well as us. We also learned that things decompose to create nutrients in the soil. Decomposing means breaking down or changing form to be more digestible to plants in our example today. Here's a recap. Because of technology, we're able to contribute to our ecosystem by helping the soil, by creating compost, to decompose our trash, to help add nutrients to the soil in which our plants grow that then help us to make bananas. This process is all a part of an ecosystem, and it demonstrates how energy changes forms. So, if the energy was originally in, say, me or our person, that means that we are going to eat a banana, which will give us more nutrients and help us to continue to grow and live. So, something that we can do to add to our ecosystem is we can use our banana peels to create things like compost heaps, to decompose the organic matter, such as banana peels or apple cores, in order to create soil that's more rich in nutrients. That means that when we receive energy in the form of eating a banana, we are then able to make energy to put into the soil using the decomposition process of the parts that we don't eat. This gives nutrients or energy to the soil, which then allows plants to grow. because that's where they get their nutrients and energy. This creates a cycle because then the tree produces more bananas for us to eat. That means that we're a community all working together, or an ecosystem. Can you think of other ecosystems? Now we're going to talk about some other ways that an ecosystem is formed and created. To do this, we're going to do a project and we are going to make dioramas. I'll show you some pictures of some examples, but it'll be very similar to the project that we did with our ecosystem using these pieces and the arrows. So, with a diorama, we're going to actually build a miniature version of an ecosystem. For example, you could build something that looks like a banana tree, the person eating the bananas, and the banana peels decomposing to make the soil for the banana tree. There are other ways that ecosystems are formed as well. Your teacher will help to get some more examples of ecosystems. And then, with the help of your classmates and your teacher, you will be able to build your very own diorama showing exactly what you know about what is in an ecosystem. Have fun!